Hello and welcome back to Man v Film. I have got 10 fantastic movies for you to check out this month on Netflix US for the month of June 2019. As always, these may not be the 10 best movies on Netflix, but they are 10 great ones that I want to just put in a random order and suggest that you check out at some point. Let's get started with number 10, Boys and Trees. It's Halloween 1997, the last night of high school for Corey, Django and their skater gang. Childhood is over and adult life beckons, but for Corey, his past has some unfinished business when he encounters Jonah, a former childhood friend now victimised by Django's cruel streak. Corey takes pity on him and agrees to walk him home for old time's sake. What starts off as a normal walk changes into something far more. Boys and Trees is a terrific movie that for some reason no one talks about, and it's a real shame because it is emotional, it is exciting, it is scary, it is atmospheric, and best of all, it's fun. This is a tale of two people just before the cusp of adulthood who kind of reconnect and discover a tumultuous past that they have as they try to fix some of the transgressions that they've had by just walking home and talking things through. Of course, there is a spooky twist to all this tale as ghosts and bumps in the night happen to these people as they just try to make it home. It's incredibly fun. It's incredibly entertaining and something that should be talked about a lot more than it actually is. So get on it and let me know your thoughts on this one. Number 9, The One I Love. A couple who are having relationship troubles visit a psychiatrist who, after a number of visits, suggests a rather strange therapy session for them. Vacate to a beautiful getaway, but there are bizarre circumstances that further complicate their situation as they discover that this therapy is something far stranger than they could ever have imagined. There is a really strange premise to this that I feel I have to say to you, but feel free to skip on to the next film if you want to miss out on some spoilers here. They're not too much of a spoiler, but it's centered around this couple who are having relationship difficulties. They go to this house where they have been suggested to go and live, and it has strange magical abilities. So whenever the male of the relationship leaves the house, a kind of doppelganger enters and shows that woman what their relationship would be like if he was the perfect man. And the same, when she leaves the building, the female version of her doppelganger comes in and shows the man what a perfect relationship would be. And it's to try and help them work things out and discover, is this a relationship that they can continue with, or is it something that's maybe died and they haven't quite let it go? But it's through terrific performances as these actors play dual roles, and the sort of relationship dynamics between all four of these people becomes really strange and weird and interesting. The One I Love is a rather strange movie, but it's really rewarding, it's really interesting. I think it's captivating down to the performances, the story, the way it's executed. It's just a great watch. Number 8, Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. Hunter S. Thompson's seminal psychedelic classic about his road trip across Western America as he and his large Samoan lawyer searched desperately for the American dream. They were helped in large by the huge amount of drugs and alcohol kept in their convertible. Johnny Depp and Benicio del Toro star in this Terry Gilliam movie that is wild. This was the kind of movie that I watched in my teenage years and loved. Endlessly quotable, completely weird and strange, just so much fun, a visual style and flair, and a story that was just absolutely bonkers. In fact, the story isn't really prevalent. It's more about a feeling, an experience. There isn't really a beginning, middle and end here. It's more atmosphere and how things feel and how they play out and the choices people make. But man, it is done in such an incredibly funny and visceral way that I have to recommend it. Number 7, The Matrix. Thomas Anderson is a man living two lives. By day, he is an average computer programmer, and by night, a hacker known as Neo. He finds himself targeted by the police, and he's contacted by the strange Morpheus, a legendary computer hacker branded a terrorist by the government. Morpheus wakes Neo to the real world, The Matrix is 20 years old this year and it still holds up. I watched it a month or two ago and I loved it. This just has terrific world building within it. It has state-of-the-art effects that still hold up now. It has terrific, heart-pumping, energetic fight scenes that are just amazing. It has this propulsive score that just drives the movie forward. Quotable lines, great actors and performances. It's just cool. I'm sure you have definitely heard of The Matrix and seen it before. It's well worth revisiting. It holds up tremendously well. It is amazing, fantastic. Number 6, Perfect Bid. Slauson became adept at recording and memorising prices of products featured on The Price is Right since its inception in 1972, culminating in him helping a contestant place a perfect bid during 2008 showcase and ending in one of the biggest controversies in game show history. This was one of those movies that, 70 odd minutes, I wasn't really too sure if I was into it. I'm not a fan of the TV show, but I thought, I'm curious, I'll stick it on. It never quite gave me what I wanted, but what it did give me was this man who was encapsulated by this show, who loved it so much so that he created his own PC versions of the games to help him memorise the prices, and how he loved to go and spend time at the shows it was recording in amongst the atmosphere and just help other contestants achieve their goals. It's kind of weird. It's almost unfulfilling in the way that he doesn't really, well, I won't mention it, but it's also strangely compelling as well in the fact that he just loved being part of that show. And yeah, it's a really strange one, but I had a lot of fun and it was something that I just really enjoyed watching. That's why he's made it on the list. Number 5, John Carter. John Carter, a Civil War veteran who in 1868 was trying to live a normal life, is asked by the army to join, but he refuses, so he is locked up. He escapes and is pursued. Eventually, they run into some Indians. There's a gunfight. Carter seeks refuge in a cage. While there, he encounters someone who is holding some kind of medallion. When Carter touches it, he finds himself in a place where he can leap to incredible heights, amongst other things. The main problem with John Carter is that it had been mined so many times for lots of ideas for other science fiction movies. So by the time that this well-renowned novel was put to screen, a lot of the ideas had already been borrowed, which didn't make it feel as fresh as it should have been. But the movie is a huge visual spectacle. I think it's entertaining, it's enjoyable with some good characters and a plot line that we have seen done before, but done in its own unique individual style here to create something that I really enjoyed. I love a lot of the antics in the world that is built here. I just wish we could have had more within this fantastic universe. Number 4, Zombieland. Two men have found a way to survive a world overrun by zombies. Columbus is a big wuss, but when you're afraid of being eaten by zombies, fear can keep you alive. Tallahassee is an AK-toting, zombie-slaying badass whose single determination is to get the last Twinkie on Earth. As they join forces with Wichita and Little Rock, who have also found unique ways to survive the zombie mayhem. It had been so long since I had even thought about Zombieland that I was really curious to go back and check out, especially as the sequel is coming 10 years after the original, and I just found a movie that was shorter than I remember and a hell of a lot more fun than I remembered. At just 88 minutes, this packs a hell of a lot into the runtime, giving us 4 fantastic characters that come together almost like a family, some incredibly funny moments as they battle each other's neuroses and how they deal with things, and it gives us great cameos, but most of all it gives us zombies, bloody zombies that have to be destroyed in really fun, energetic ways, which Tallahassee does a lot. This is a great cast, great moments, incredibly fun and easy watch, which has actually got me kind of excited about the sequel, which is coming soon. Number 3, extremely wicked, shockingly evil and vile. Ted Bundy is the dream guy, charming, honest and a real family guy. He also happens to be a serial killer. The film follows the relationships that Bundy forms using his charisma and smarts to lure people into believing he's just a good guy, rather than the monster he was and how he affected their lives. An interesting take on the serial killer movie, where it doesn't really focus on the victims, it focuses more on, well, the other victims, the people who were part of his life, who had the ramifications of being entangled with Bundy, how he lured them in with his charisma, his charm, and won them round, constantly convincing these people that he was innocent, even though he was doing these dastardly, horrible deeds. Zac Efron is really good as Ted Bundy, this person that's all about the facade and not what's behind the surface. I thought this was a really interesting take on a serial killer movie and really fascinating to watch. Number 2, The Wandering Earth. As the sun is dying out, people all around the world build giant planet thrusters to move Earth out of its orbit and sail the Earth to a new star system. Yet the 2,500 year journey comes with unexpected dangers, and in order to save humanity, a group of young people in this age of a wandering Earth fight hard for the survival of humankind. This is an Asian Roland Emmerich movie, destruction of the world, and a big rocket attached to it to make it fly through space. It seems silly, but Sully is a brand I can buy into if it is done correctly. This has destruction of the world, it has men on a mission thrust together, people who would normally never hang out or never be able to work together, have to come together, put their differences aside, solve their personal problems as well, and save the day. Of course, throughout this, there is going to be people who get lost by the wayside, there is going to be huge destructive scenes, there is going to be families torn apart. And this kind of delivers that. I find the movie a little hollow myself, but it is a visual spectacle, and it is kind of fun to just sit back and watch more silliness play out on screen. Number 1, Snowpiercer. Set in 2031, the entire world is frozen except for those aboard the Snowpiercer. For 17 years, the world's survivors are on a train hurtling around the globe, creating their own economy and class system. Led by Curtis, a group of lower class citizens living in squalor at the back of the train are determined to get to the front of the train and spread the wealth around. Each section of the train holds new surprises for the group, who have to battle their way through. A revolution is underway. Quite simply, Snowpiercer had to be my number 1 movie. This movie was somehow maligned when it came out. We never really got a big cinematic release. It wasn't out on Blu-ray. It just kind of faded into the ether, which I cannot understand, because this is truly something special. Curtis is played by Chris Evans, and this is a little bit like a video game. We have this group of people at the back who are treated like crap, who have decided not to take it anymore, and they're going to get to the people at the top or the front of the train and fix that kind of divide. And each cabin they go into offers new challenges. There is crazy fight scenes, destructive sequences as these people try to survive, try to better their living situation. It has a lot of social context, it has some terrific action set pieces, and this is exciting, fun, and one of these movies that you may just never have heard of. This is an absolute cracker of a movie, which is why it's my number 1 for this month. Get it watched, let me know your thoughts in the comment box below. So there we have it, 10 fantastic movies for you to check out this month. I hope you find something there that you want to watch, or something that sparks a little bit of interest within you. If there's something that I've missed off my list, should there be something that you want to recommend to me, let me know in the comment box below. And don't forget, subscribe. It does good things, puts positivity out in the world, good karma, all that stuff. Like this video as well, and I will see you next time on Man vs. Film.